I'm what you would call a generational gang member. Um, older members of my family started falling into it. I had aunts that were drug dealers. Like I said, my early childhood was good, but as people got older and progressed, they started getting involved in stuff, and I had a lot of uncles and cousins and stuff that were involved in it. So I grew up around it, and as I grew up into it, like I didn't really, in my mind, it wasn't like I was doing anything wrong. Even though society and the police officers and the authority figures, it was against the law to be doing some of the things that we were doing. But when you grow up around it, it's, to you, it's just like, or to me, it was just like an everyday thing. So really, in my mind, I wasn't breaking the law. I was just doing what I do. Just kind of how. For me, it was the loss of my brother. I grew up being a very negative role model to him. Taught him how to sell drugs. I taught him how to pack guns. I taught him how to hang out with the people that he was hanging out with. I taught him how to use drugs. I taught him how to hustle. I taught him everything negative that I shouldn't have taught him, you know what I mean? And he ended up getting stabbed at a house party, and he was stabbed in the heart. And because of his injuries, he ended up in a hospital bed for 12 years, brain dead. So it took him 12 years to die. That, when he got hurt, is when I started pulling away, because that was like the ultimate example of what my actions were causing as far as, some negative outcomes, you know what I mean? It was the most negative outcome that could have happened, right? And then he has two younger brothers. He had two younger sons, and his oldest just graduated from LC last year, and his other son is going to LC now, and he's like a borderline genius. SAT scores are like, yeah, he's really smart. So they have never seen, or they don't remember the me that was around then, because when he got stabbed, I promised myself that I was going to be a positive role model to them, even though I couldn't be a positive role model to their dad. So that's kind of like, for me, what triggered a change in me. Unfortunately, it took him getting hurt for me to want to make that choice, and nobody's going to change unless they want to. So one of the obstacles that I have right now is my record. I'm what you would call a validated gang member. On paper, it's really hard for me to clear to go to schools and stuff like that. I don't have really like a lot of violent stuff on my record, but I do have incidences when I was in prison where there was violence. So all that affects me. Like it took me a really long time to be cleared to be able to go into juvenile hall. Just little things like that there's certain jobs that I'm not going to ever be able to do that I wish I could. Man, I wish I could be a cop. Had I not gone that route, I might have been a cop, right? Or something in science, but maybe I would have been a CSI guy, right? That has science and a cop. So I'm like really friendly with a lot of cops now. So growing up, I was always like, oh, they're the enemy, and that's kind of how gangs want you to portray them or see them. Now it's like I do a lot of presentations where I've done presentations with police officers, and they're like really cool people, It's the worst. Because you're a gang member, so now you gotta abide by the gang member rules. So you get there and you gotta do everything that they ask of you. So you're not, I always tell kids, if you don't like people telling you what to do, don't go into gangs and don't go to jail, because you're gonna end up following rules that are meant for you to fail, And this isn't even talking about what the rules you have to follow for the guards. I'm talking about just your norteños, sureños. They have a lot of rules, and they ask a lot of their members. You know what I mean? And they're a business. So, and if you look at it like they're a business, and the guys that own the company are doing life in prison and they're never getting out, and their only source of income is these guys that are coming in and out of prison. Well, they're employees, and they're gonna work their employees to the bone to get the money that they need to support their habits, and their habits are heroin habits. So that's what it boils down to. Like, that's what a lot of these guys don't understand. It took me to go to prison to realize it and see it for myself, that it's a pyramid scheme. I mean, the guy at the top gets paid. Everybody else bleeds and sweats and sacrifices. Yeah. Believe in yourself. Surround yourself with positive people. There's a saying my dad used to say, enséñame tus amigos y te digo quién eres. Or show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Yeah. And it's so true. Because when I was surrounded by negativity, I kept getting in trouble, you know, in and out of prison. Now, like, I, you know, found the people that I hang out with is my family, my immediate family, my wife, you know, my kids. I got cousins, you know, we're all, you know, all in church. So now, you know, the people that I hang out with, it's not like it used to be, you know what I mean?
Hi, my name is Alondra Esparza.
My name is Miguel Dominguez.
My name is Perla Acuña.
My name is Cecilia Hernandez.
My name is Alexandra Esparza.
My name is Gustavo Peralta.